What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so at the recent Espy Awards, retired tennis legend Serena Williams took a shot at Harrison Butker. All right, Harrison Butker, if that name doesn't ring a bell, he is a kicker for the Kansas City Kings, but the reason why he is or was in the news is because a couple of months ago, he gave a commencement speech at Benedictine College. And during this commencement speech, he mentioned how a lot of the women that were graduating, probably despite the feminist agenda at play in our society, our modern society, probably will be looking more forward toward being homemakers, being homemakers rather than having the careers that people put pressure on them. And he said was basically saying there's nothing wrong with being a homemaker and raising children. Feminists went wild about that. Feminists went absolutely crazy, called him a misogynist and all these different terms. And 99% of them, like I usually say, don't live in the real world. They do a lot of just self-destructive things, in my opinion. But that's another video for another topic. Not a topic for another video, for another day. They didn't really probably read what he said. They look at excerpts written from articles by people who have agendas and aren't being objective, and they just do a lot of lazy ranting, not actually taking the time to read what he said. I read what he said, and I didn't find anything offensive toward it, and the women that I know didn't find anything offensive by it because they actually read what he said. Because he also called upon men to be leaders, and if you have family, you have to take care of your family. He was talking about the family a lot, and that's a key issue here that they don't want to talk about. So anyway, Serena Williams called out Harrison Butker, who I believe was in the audience, and she said, quote, she told the audience to, quote, go ahead and enjoy women's sports like you would any other sports because they are sports. Then she said, except you, Harrison Butker, we don't need you. And that was a shot at him because now he's an enemy to women across the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just my take on this. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's interesting that she would say this, Serena Williams. Like, what possessed her to say that? Did somebody push her to say that? Why call out Harrison Butker there? Did that trigger you that badly? Because, okay, don't you have a family, Serena? Aren't you married with kids? What's wrong with that? Why is that a problem that this is a man that was pushing how how great it is to have the family unit? And there's nothing wrong with either putting your career on hold to have a family or to forego an individual single career and to have a family. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem, in my opinion, is that a lot of women who have this diseased feminist mindset, they feel like you're trying to control them. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be controlled. They want to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do. I mean, and you can see that in a lot of women's actions. Look, a lot of these women, let's be honest, a lot of these women who are going around doing whatever they want to do, acting a fool, more than likely they have a quote-unquote feminist mindset when it comes to how they perceive their traditional roles in society. But in reality, what it really is, see, the thing about feminism is supposed to be a philosophy where you believe that women in various fields should be treated the same. Women should generally be treated with the same respect. We're different, but when it applies, we should all be treated equally. That's what feminism is supposed to be. But it's been warped into something different. It's been warped and co-opted by what I call feminazis, and they don't really want equality. They want to dominate. They want to get rid of what they perceive to be the patriarchy, but they don't want equality. They want a matriarchy, and there's a totally different agenda. And I also, this is why I brought up who told her to say this. There's also hidden subliminal, not subliminal, I guess I should say, there's a hidden visual and optic message here. It's no mistake that it was Serena Williams, Venus Williams. I don't know the other lady that was up there, but there's no coincidence that there happen to be Black women up there, because this is what they want to push in our community. You know, and I hate to bring this into a political discussion or party affiliation, but let's not act like that the vast majority of people in attendance there aren't registered Democrats or support a Democratic Party. And as I say all the time, the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to Black community, has become totally anti-family. As far as man and woman, they would rather have the single household dominated by females, raising these men, not all, I'm not talking about everybody, but it's a big problem when you have certain women who are raised in a certain household, certain women with a certain mindset that are raising kids. And it's to a point now, a lot of them hate men. And there aren't men in these young kids' lives, girls and boys. So oftentimes the boys are looking at and are starting to absorb certain behavior from the mothers and the aunts and the female friends. And it's just they're dominated by feminism. So they don't grow up knowing what it is to be like men. That's why you have a lot of these 22-year-old, 20-year-olds, healthy bodies walking around, and they are basically copying what their mothers do, which is to depend upon other men, I should say, which is ironic because Harrison Butker is talking about women being in traditional roles in society, where there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, say, if a man is in that position as a home care, a home provider, or whatever you want to call it, homemaker, and the woman is out there working. If that's the dynamic, fine. But traditionally, women have been home makers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's anathema. That's totally anathema to the current culture that we have. You know, that's not what they want to push. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So you have these young guys out there now who begging for money, pulling tricks. When I say pulling tricks, you know what I'm talking about. They don't know what it's like to be men, and they're frustrated. And that's why a lot of these guys, you know, these women, these young girls, when they're trying to look for relationships, these guys don't know what to do because they never had a man tell them how to approach women. You know, they never had a man school them on how to be friends with a woman. That's why you got all these weirdos doing all these weird stuff, jerking off on women and talking to women any kind of way. And just, you know, look, it's one thing if it's a woman who is 5'2", 130 pounds, cursing people out. You know, that's terrible behavior, but it's not really threatening. But if you're a 6'4", 280-pound dude doing it, especially if you're black, hey, don't get mad if the cops get called and they beat the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm not down with this. There's nothing wrong being a homemaker. My mother was a homemaker. God rest her soul. You know, but there have been situations where people, you know, and there's nothing wrong being a single mother, especially, you know, if the relationship didn't work out, or, you know, there's still male figures in that child's life to teach them how to be a man, or, you know, the husband or whatever died. That's something totally different. I'm talking about women who feel like they don't need that male figure in that child's life, especially if it's a boy. That's a problem. Even if it's a daughter, even if you have female children or, you know, daughters, they still need some sort of positive male role model in their lives, because if they don't, then they start seeking it in the wrong places. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a problem. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that, man. Tell me what you guys think.